Hi, Kathy Woods here, Cup of Soul Show. First of all, I want to say is I really, really enjoyed this film. Most importantly, what I liked about it is that it featured women. We don't talk enough about the role of women in, the world in World War II and also in the resistance movement. Talk to me a little bit, Sarah, about what drew you to the role.
Yeah, exactly what you said. You know, I actually love World War II films. I love 1917. I could go on and on. And I watch them and I'm like, these are amazing stories about heroic men. But there were a lot of heroic women in this war. And when I started digging into it, there were even more than I thought about it. And I was kind of ashamed I didn't know about it. Why aren't these women in our history books? Why don't I know about this? And so I found and chose three in Churchill's Secret Army, who were these legendary spies who won just about every award you could possibly win for bravery, and yet no one's done a movie on them yet. So I said, let's do it.
And also your character, she was feisty and she was a fighter and fearless, she got all these rejections from being a diplomat, but she figured out like loopholes around it. And, when they sent her, and she got, I don't want to give it away, but when she had some challenges, she found ways around it. Talk about why it's also important to showcase that in spite of having a disability, you can still be very productive and you have a lot to offer. Why that it's important to show that?
I love that question. You know, Virginia Hall shot her leg off in her 20s in a hunting accident and had a wooden leg, and she was discriminated against for the rest of her life, in addition to being a woman and having to deal with that type of discrimination in 1941. Everyone told her no. Everyone told her no. And this is actually what I kind of really connected to playing the character, is this woman who, independent filmmaking is similar to that. You get lots of no's on a smaller scale, by the way. I'm not equating the two, but what I loved about Virginia Hall was she is a real hero, and the disability was part of her. She named it her wooden leg Cuthbert, but we show her heroism. We don't show a down in the dumps person who can't overcome whatever their issue is, disability or otherwise. We show her struggles, but also her triumph. And I just think we need more real heroes for people to look up to on screen.
And another part of the film I thought was interesting, you weren't in that scene, but the idea during World War II was always that xenophobia was something that was more or less, was relegated to the Germans and all the countries that supported the Nazi ideals. But it was also very much alive in Britain. Talk about why it's important for people to see that although Britain was considered on the good side, and even here in the United States, why people still had prejudices within spaces that were supposed to consider being safe.
Yeah, it's fascinating that so many people, like I didn't necessarily know the extent that there was anti-Semitism in 1941 in London, in the spy agency trying to win the war. The character Stana Katic plays, Vera Atkins, was Jewish and had to try and hide that at her own job because she was discriminated against for that. And it just goes to show that like discrimination is discrimination wherever you are, and it exists everywhere. And, we have to overcome that. And the British, everyone has had discrimination everywhere.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I really, like I said, I enjoyed the film. I'm a huge World War II historian fan, and it was really nice to learn something new, especially about these amazing women who helped, inspire other women and did their part. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.